thank you very much, Julie and the PAC, for allowing me to come up here and speak again. This is where I got started, so everyone that's a candidate, you should feel like this is your home. They're going to be open to you. They're going to tell you what they like. They're going to tell you what they don't like. Most importantly, they're going to give you valuable information on how you will become a better candidate and how you can, you know, as Julie mentioned, how you can just better address the crowd and you can become a better speaker when you stand up and speak before a group. I do want to introduce my staff that's with me today. I have Justin Scharnhorst, he's my Chief of Staff. Chief Operations Officer, Charles Cobb. Both of those two guys, they work every day on your behalf, on my behalf, to make certain that this county, especially Precinct 3, is operating as efficiently as we possibly can. I had another gentleman, Matt Beasley. Matt is our project manager. He had to leave. He also, he is a, what is that group that you do? Lodge. Yes, he had to go to the Masons tonight. So he is one step away from being, I call him the Grand Poobah of the Lodge. So he's trying to, I asked him if he's got the horns on the hat. He's not here, but the Masons do a lot of good work, and I'm real proud to have him on my staff. January, we were sworn in office. And these first 5 months of office has been a real whirlwind. I believe we have done what we said we were going to do. We tried to make the office more efficient. We tried to reduce spending in some areas. We have tried to make certain that our staff has the tools and the resources they need to do the job. And so I'm just going to give a quick highlight of some of the things that we've done. But before I do, I want to tell you how exciting it is and how proud I am to stand before a group like you and thank you for what you do each and every day. And most importantly, for your results in this last bond election for Lone Star. So give a big round of applause to yourself. I like to tell anybody that'll listen, and I have a lot of folks that I talk with on a daily basis about what's going on in Montgomery County. Some of them are other elected officials, some of them are friends and family. But there's a group out there who thinks that the Tea Party's dead. Some of them think that we're dying off. Those results in that last election, it just proves that our reach is getting stronger and stronger. So thank you for what you do every day. In 5 months, I think that we have, we're just going to kind of tick off a list of things that we've done. Number one, we've transformed our recycling facility. We've opened up the place, made it bigger, made it better. We operate more efficiently. We've reduced our overhead salaries only by 18%. We take in more refuse than we ever have. We send more out and we collect more money in the operation of that facility. Some of that is due to increased fees that we pay to have these items disposed. In others, it's because we needed to increase efficiencies. When we took over, it was about a $500,000 operation in the negative. We're trying to bring that up. We're not there to make money. We're there to serve a purpose, and so we're trying to make that operation more and more efficient each and every day. But like I said, 18% less we're spending on overhead. Just from a salary perspective, we went from $222,000 to $187,000 in salaries, and we take in more waste than we ever have. And that's due, Justin runs the recycle facility. It's due to him, and it's due to the hardworking people that work on your behalf each and every day. Total staffing, we're at $225,000 less than the previous administration. We do more. A work order used to take in excess of 30 days to be completed. Now we're doing work orders within 48 hours. Our staff will tell you, and these are the same people, same men that have worked for some of them over 30 years. They worked with the previous staff, Weldon Locke's team, and worked all the way through that chance. They're still with us today. They will tell you that they have done more in the first 4 months under our administration than they would in an entire year under the previous administration. So they are out working hard every single day to make certain that your ditches are dug properly, that we're going out there, we're shooting a grade, making certain that our signals are operating as efficiently as possible, making certain that when a tree falls down, we're getting that tree picked up. In areas where we can go in and we can remove trees before they fall, that's what we're doing. Working on improving the roadway system, we're working on making certain that our roadways are safer. Since we started, we have gone in and transformed 3 intersections now, made those intersections safer, and that's what we're doing each and every day. When we get issues that are brought to our attention, we take the same approach each and every time that if you come to us with an issue on a roadway, we're gonna research it. We're gonna pull traffic reports from all the different agencies that report the traffic data to us. We're going to work with our county engineers. They're going to study the intersection as it sits today. They're going to put a recommendation in place. They're going to do a study then, and then we're going to decide what course of action that we take. We do that every time, so we have a consistent way in how we address these problems. And you know, one area or not one area or one person gets more attention than the other. It's done on a fair and consistent basis across the board. We've reorganized our staff when we got there. We've had people that have been with Montgomery County in Precinct 3 for 20, 30 plus years. And they started as an Operator 1 20 years ago, and they're still an Operator 1 today. What we want to do is we want to give them a career path, something where they can feel like they're continuing to improve each and every day. We have Operator 1s, Operator 2s, Operator 3s, and they know what it takes to get to the next step. And our guys are there to train them, motivate them, to help them improve and become better and more efficient along the way. We also were the very first precinct to have superintendents. We have a group of 3 superintendents. They're our most senior individuals. We now have foremen underneath our superintendents. In the past, the office was structured with 2 foremen. Everyone else was an operator. So it was a very flat organization. People really didn't have a career path. They didn't really have a place to go. We wanted them to know that if they're going to work hard, I'm going to do what I can to make certain that they're rewarded. So now they have a way to progress as far as they want to progress. We are remodeling our building, which is a big step. It's been a long time since that building has been remodeled. Julie and some of the other members of the group have been there to see just what we're talking about. In some areas, we have holes big enough for rodents to come in. Wayne Mack, one of our he runs our custodial operation. Yeah, he'll tell you that that's one of the, we have more rodents in that building than probably all the rest of them combined, so we're trying to work on that, reducing that and making our building safer, making it a more attractive place for us to work and operate. Worked on improving timing of signals. Chuck Cobb came over, and he has a high-tech background. He also was in law enforcement for a number of years. Those of you that live on the east side of 45, Rayford Road is a constant challenge each and every day. We have retimed those signals, and we're moving 40 to 60 cars, 40 to 60 more cars per cycle than we were when we started. One of the other things we do, I told you we're looking to continually improve these intersections. We are working with TxDOT to, when you're traveling west on Rayford Road to go south on 45, we're looking to create a triple left turn lane there. So we're working to get approval with TxDOT. We have preliminary approval to do that. That's going to be a fantastic undertaking for the residents on the east side of 45 and any of us that travel back and forth. So we're real excited to put that in place. As you may know, some of the roadways blocked off now, anticipating that to come. We're spending some money in some areas. We have some new uniforms that we're working on, something to keep our guys a little bit cooler, make them work a little bit harder in this warm weather. We're buying some new trucks and equipment. We have trucks that are far older than Justin, and even some of them that are older than me. In some ways that's good, in some ways it's bad. These older trucks, we are able to work on them, but some of them, they're past their prime, so to speak. So we're going through and we're putting all of our vehicles, all of our inventory, all of our equipment in a system in which we can continually update this equipment in a timely basis, instead of getting to the point where we have an entire yard of equipment that needs to be replaced. A lot of what we work with now really doesn't meet the standards of today's environment. A couple of things now more pressing or maybe more interesting to you guys. How many of you follow Commissioner's Court, go to the meetings, listen? Well, as you know, hopefully you'll see I'm starting to make a little bit of an impact in court. And some of it is just me being there, some of it is by the actions that I take and the things that I say. But I'll just give you a couple of examples of things that are a little bit different. In the past, commissioners, they really didn't want to put forth an idea if it was not going to receive 3 votes. I was told that I needed to learn how to count. I'm pretty dang good at counting. I'm not always worried about getting to 3. I'm worried about doing what's right. So you may see me put something on the agenda, may not get a second, may only get 1 vote, may only get 2 votes. But there's usually a reason why I'm doing that. And it's because if I can bring attention to a certain issue, if I can get the Tea Party interested in what we're talking about, if we can get other people interested in what we're doing, it's going to put pressure on the other commissioners. It's going to put pressure on the judge, and it's going to elicit change just by sheer fact that elected officials tend to listen and do what the public wants them to do. Case in point would be we had a consultant that had a contract that was didn't meet the needs of the county. It was wide open, and there was no end date in sight. And fortunately, we have a county attorney that wanted to step in and help us get this situation resolved. I think I had to put it on the agenda 3 times before we were able to finally come through with a revised contract that made sense for the county, that has an end date in sight. And it's something that I'm just real proud that we had J.D. Lambright and B.D. Griffin to work with us on that and to push that through and to get the third vote that we needed to bring about some justice with that particular issue. Another thing that I was real excited about was the establishment of this budget review committee. It was important just in the fact that it gets other elected officials thinking about the fact that our budget should not and just continue to grow year over year. Judge Wood, I'm glad you're here. One of the things that I'm real concerned about is I'm starting to feel like our appraised values of our homes continue to go up and up and up. And that's a good thing. We don't want them to go down, down, and down. But when you leave the tax rate the same year after year after year, when you have rising appraised values on your homes, that's a tax increase. And I'm worried that we're starting to tax our people out of their homes. My home, for example, this year went up over $100,000 in value in a 1-year time period. You know, those types of things are going to be hard to swallow, and for some people, it's impossible for them to swallow. You're on a fixed income, you've lived here a long time. So I'm trying to get the court to understand that we need to rein in the budget. There is wasteful spending. We have to have an appetite to go in there and purge this waste out of the government. And in some areas, we may need to spend more money in certain aspects of what we do. Others, we need to spend less. And with your help and your support, and you supporting candidates that want to take that challenge on themselves and want to do better for the taxpayer, it is going to yield better results for you and for the court in general. This past week, a real interesting issue came up with regards to a JP. We have a JP1. Some folks in here today, I think, are running for that seat. And we have a JP that is not able to perform the duties necessary to JP any longer. And back in November, the court, I didn't come on until January, but in November, the court had appointed a whole host of different JPs to come in and fill in for this particular JP. And when J.D. Lambright came in office, he quickly realized that is not the right way to do it. You can only have one JP appointed to replace this JP. And so in court on Monday, the issue came up of we needed to have a contract for one person to do this other person's job. And while I'm very sensitive to the fact that illness, befalls on people and it can really create havoc and heartache in their family, it's not right for the taxpayer to have to pay 2 people to do the same job. And this is something that is, I tried very vehemently to get the other court members to understand and to take the person out of the issue and just look at this from is this right for the taxpayer? And more so, would we do it for one of our police officers? Would we do it for one of the staff members? Would we do it for someone in HR? And the answer is no. And I don't think elected officials should be treated any differently. And so hopefully this issue is going to come back up, and hopefully we'll be able to address it in a better manner. We appointed a new treasurer in this last court. That was a pretty interesting deal. First time for me to go through that process. We were able to call in the candidates. Anyone who was interested in applying for that position was able to do so. They came in, they interviewed with the court, and the court 4-1 picked a temporary treasurer to fill in until the next election cycle comes in. A couple of other things, I'm kind of saving them for last because I think they're going to have the most questions. How many of you know that we have something called the Joe Corley facility? So the Joe Corley facility and the mental health facility, there were some questions. Judge Wood, I'm sorry that they put you up on the spot with those. So, those are questions that I would be more than happy to try to answer. But as you know, the decision was made to sell the Joe Corley facility. When I came on board, I had heard an awful lot about about this facility, it being built, why it was built, when it was built, how it was built. I still don't have all of the answers to those questions, and we probably never will. But it is important for the court to act responsibly in the process of selling this particular asset. I wasn't certain if we should sell it, if we should keep it, what we should do. JD and I spent an awful lot of time talking through the options, what was available, what are the issues with the current facility, and after we looked at everything, I hosted meetings in my office with some of the other commissioners, one at a time, with the bond counsel, with the disclosure counsel, trying to get a better understanding of why did we use these type of tax-free bonds? Why was the Jail Financing Corporation established? Trying to get to the underlying issue. And when we boiled it all down, we really didn't have an option left other than to sell the facility. And so the court, you may not like the action, and you may not like the fact that we built the Montgomery County built this facility, but I do stand before you today telling you selling that facility was the best thing and was the only option that we had. And I'd be more than happy to answer some questions about that in just a few minutes. In that, we can talk about the mental health facility, as well as the fact that GEO has plans to build a new facility right there on the property that they've already owned for a number of years. There are some philosophical differences between me and the court, and I think you'll see that. One is I believe that economic development is best handled by those who want to prosper here in our community. It's not the job of the government to put people in place to be successful. We're here to make sure that they're safe once they're here, to put the roadways in place. And I think that Montgomery County does a great job of economic development overall. I think that our tax abatement policy is sound. I think we've done a good job managing that. When you look at that, when you look at the infrastructure that we have on the ground, and you look at the airport, to me, that is that's the economic development that we bring to Montgomery County. In November, before I took office, the previous commissioner and the current commissioners they got into an agreement with the South County Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development Partnership. And they signed a 6-year agreement for $50,000 a year, $300,000 in total, to help fund this economic development program. They do a fantastic job. The gentleman that runs it is a class act. He works really hard to bring businesses into Montgomery County, specifically the Woodlands. But I don't think that's the job of your tax dollars. I don't think that's how it should be spent. So I canceled that agreement. We lived up to the expectations. We had a 180-day out clause, and during that time period, we would have to pay for, prorate the $50,000. So we came to an agreement where we would cancel that effective November 1st, and they'd be paid $25,000 one time. And so we were able to go in and save the taxpayers $275,000. And I don't think we're going to miss a beat as far as attracting the right types of companies to our community. Yes, ma'am?
I was going to say, I believe Commissioner Doyle added $15,000 to your...
He did. We negotiated $25,000, and Commissioner Doyle, he added $15,000 to make it a total of $40,000, and had asked if we were going to reconsider this next year, and I told him no. A couple of concerns and issues that I really want to get your feedback on. One is this issue that alarms me of taxing people out of their homes. I'm kind of interested to see how your appraised values are coming in, what you're thinking, what your thoughts are on that situation. I want to talk to you about improving our infrastructure, new roadways to be developed, what your thoughts are on toll roads. We have a really good paper. They do a really good job a lot of times, but not everything is exactly as you would think it is. I was not an advocate or a proponent of a GEO building another jail here. there was a reason why that happened, but I wasn't out beating the drums to turn our community into another Walker County, nor was I an endorser of toll roads coming into Montgomery County. I'm not necessarily against them in principle, but I think it's something that needs to be studied much more in depth than just a 15-minute conversation in Commissioner's Court. And last thing, or to fund these projects, to fund new roadways, to fund upgrading the infrastructure that we have in place, it's going to cost money. And at some point, we're going to have a conversation on, is it a bond issue that we need to issue to make this happen? And there are other ways we can go about it. We're really hoping to see a little bit more out of our legislature this year in addressing the transportation issue. It didn't happen. So, and I think they're doing that for a reason. I think they really want to push this down to the counties, to the local municipalities to deal with the roadways. And if so, we're going to have to do a much better job of planning and addressing them. And what I have done with the support of the entire local South County is put together a South County mobility plan. And Justin, if you'll pass around, I came here about a month and a half ago and I told you a little bit about this plan that we were putting together. I told you when the scope of work was released, I'd bring it to this group. They're the first people to get this scope of work. So I want you to read it, look over it, send us an email. Raise your hands if you want one, and we'll have, I think we have about 30 copies of it. And it'll really spell out for you what the goals of this plan is, what the communication process is going to be. And in the end, what we're going to have is a plan that will be integrated with HGAC and the Regional Transportation Plan and be in line to receive funding as it comes along. And that's something we have not done before in Montgomery County. So this is something in partnership with TxDOT, HGAC, the Woodlands Township, Shenandoah, Oak Ridge North, my office, Judge Sadler participated as well, and also Harris County. Judge Emmett always has a representative head up the meetings, as does Jack Cagle's office. So this is a collaborative effort to try to do what is best for mobility in our South County region. And for those of you who, I know HGAC, when you mention that, sometimes it ruffles your feathers. In this particular instance, all of our highway dollars flow through HGAC. So gas tax, any federal dollars that come from elsewhere flow through this MPO, Metropolitan Planning Organization. So we have to go to them to get your tax dollars back. And the only way we can do that is if we have a plan in place. And so we're trying to put forth a plan in place because right now, our dollars have been building roads in Fort Meade County, in Harris County, in Brazoria County. And I want to bring those dollars home and build roads in Montgomery County. So this plan is going to help us do that. Now, I'd love to open it up for questions. And yes, sir.
With the San Jacinto River Authority starting in January, we'll have roads on the road out there. River Authority is looking to Parkway in April, January, April, and then go south. When you push to the east side, one lane going back 14 sides, once they put those pipes in, how long does it take to repair and replace lines going forward?
That entire process, start to finish, should be done in that 4-month time period. So that's going in, tearing up the existing roadway, digging the trench for the pipeline, setting the pipe, hydro testing the pipe, filling with the appropriate material, then putting the road bed down, overlaying with the concrete, and opening up the lanes. So it should 4 months start to finish. And we'll have lots more information about that process. Stage by stage, we work very closely with San Jacinto River Authority. They will come here as well and address the group on this plan. When they do, it'll probably take almost a whole night because it'll be very detailed, but it's going to get you the information that you need to know in areas to try to avoid. One thing I will ask is, you're going to have to be patient, and remember this isn't a plan that the commissioner devised or even that San Jacinto River Authority devised. This is mandated by the state of Texas groundwater, Lone Star Groundwater District. It is part of an overall statewide plan to try to mitigate drought circumstances. you agree with it, if you don't agree with it. We just had to come up with what we thought was the best way to move this pipeline through the woodlands and through all of South County, and that's what we've done. Yes,
Okay. All right, here's the top one.
Uh-oh.
Are you now ready? The county judge is a very important part of that commissioner's court.
It
Are
is.
you ready to endorse Doris now? Or
I'm going to hold off on that. I might want to run myself. You never know.
well, okay. Hey, but I gotta just mention Judge Moriarty. Do you really? I don't want to sidetrack on that issue, but in Commissioner's Court, that was very interesting the way O'Sullivan really came against hanging in the unit. Judge Sadler got together, and I got to tell you, I've been in these judges a lot. And Judge Woods, who's made those district judges, are making $140,000 a year now, plus perks. And I guarantee, if one of them comes down sick, I've seen it before in Harris County, they will stay on forever. Forever, and they'll get substitute judges. Am I right, Judge Wood? You good, you can't imagine how many judges I've known in this state. Now, if that happens, you prepare to take the same position against district judges that you would against poor old Judge Moriarty.
And that's why I left names out of it. I try not to take personalities into these types of decisions. I think you have to look at them across the board, and yeah, I would take the same approach no matter who it is.
Don't the statutes require you to continue paying an elected official until they step down?
Yes, until the and that's
even if they're not able to do the job, because that has happened in Montgomery County.
and so what? And there's a process that has to happen for that to take place. I'll leave that for JD to kind of fill in how that works. Julie's asking how will the budget reduction committee or the budget review committee, how will we decide what areas will spend more money on or what areas may receive cuts. What's been real interesting, and this is my first time to go through this process as a commissioner, is the elected officials and the department heads, they have heard loud and clear that if you don't need it, don't ask for it. If you want it and can't justify it, don't ask for it. So the requests that have come in so far during the budget process have been far lower than they normally have been, which is a win. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that the budget's going to be lower than it was last year or as low as we'd like it to be, but it's a process of getting people started. The budget committee is comprised of me, Commissioner Craig Doyle, the auditor, and Infrastructure Director Mark Bosma. And the purpose is for us to kind of go through department by department and try to bring in these department heads, talk with them about the budget, and explore areas in which we can eliminate waste. After the most recent bond election, I sat down in the budget committee and I expressed to the group that I believe we had to get much more serious about this budget and about really identifying areas in which we can cut, because you have to remember, when you've been doing something for a long time, there's a inertia, and a lot of what we've done in Montgomery County is good. There's a lot of good things that we've done, but I'm interested in doing better, and what can we do differently, and how can we challenge the status quo, and how can we get people to think differently, and so I use the example of what happened with the Lone Star College election, and it doesn't matter how you voted or how you feel. I think you have to pay attention to the results, and the results are citizens in Montgomery County are demanding fiscal responsibility. They're not asking for it; they're demanding it. They want us to do better. When you go before them with a bond issue, they want you to be able to articulate, why are you bringing this before us? What is the impact going to be on my wallet? What is the plan for repayment? What are the benefits to the taxpayer of this? And if you can't do that, you shouldn't ask for our money, right? And so I'm trying to bring that message to the Budget Reduction Committee and to the entire court. And to answer your question, I personally don't feel like we've made nearly enough progress in that committee, and I'm one of four.
Well, I'm just thinking that if it isn't the bond, it's a rate bond, and it fails, we still need those.
Absolutely.
So how will we come to approach that if there's no bond and there's also further resistance to CRs?
Absolutely. I think, first of all, in order for us to pass a road bond, I think we have to do a better job managing the dollars that we have. We have a $265 million budget. Looks like we're going to have somewhere 3, 4, 5, 6% increase in appraised value of homes year over year, which is going to bring in more revenue to the county. With the budget as it sits today, if we just can save 5%, that's going to generate $13 million. 3% is $5 million. I mean, we're talking about just a small reduction in the overall budget to earmark some funds for paying down bond debt for roadways. To me, it's a much better way to go to the voter and talk with them about what is the impact going to be to you, what is the plan to repay it, and then we can talk specifically about the roadways that we want in each of our projects. I've been working with J.R. Moore's office on looking at tax revenue that comes into Montgomery County and where does it come from. In the past, Montgomery County is when a road bond is out there, or when we set precinct budgets, we do it equally based on, we divide the number by 4. Well, probably 37% of all the tax dollars come from right here in South Montgomery County. And South Montgomery County, most of our roadways have been built by developers. We haven't spent a lot of money on roads in South Montgomery County. We're getting to the point now where we have an aging infrastructure. When you're driving on a concrete road and you see aggregate, you see rocks in it, that's not good. That means that road needs to be replaced or refurbished. And so when you notice those things, you got to start asking yourself, well, how are we going to pay for it? How many of you notice every road in Precinct 3 could be restriped right now? Every one of them. We have a real issue with that. Matt Beasley's working on, he's working, we've restriped Lakefront Circle from 45 all the way to Woodlands Parkway. We're about to restripe Hannah. There's several other roads we're going to go through and start. Fortunately, this pipeline coming through Montgomery County, and in the Woodlands in particular, we're going to get a couple of half roads built out of that. As Mr. Bass was saying, we're going to have, sorry, not Mr. Bass. I know, I'm looking over here, Bird, Mr. Bird, sorry about that.
This is that crazy guy in the township. No.
I didn't say that.
No, I'm just kidding.
Anyhow, sorry about that, Belton. But we're on Research Forest. We're Research Forest in Grogan's Mill all the way to, really all the way down Grogan's Mill. Both those lanes and shoulders are going to be torn up and are going to be relayed. So we're going to use some dollars from the San Jacinto River Authority to put those in place. Portions of Research Forest are going to have the same thing. It's still our tax dollars. It's still money being spent. But we are killing 2 birds with 1 stone. The roadway does need to be replaced, and at least we're not going to have to go through that process twice.
Yeah, language into the government. I was wondering if you've considered what might be eliminated from the commissioner's report of things that they're currently doing that don't absolutely have to be done, and reduce it to this report issue.
Now, one of the most recent examples would be building these detention facilities. I mean, is that something that the county should be in the business of doing? I know there were some reasons in the past for why they were put into place, and it sounded like a good idea. A lot of other counties and entities around the country built these facilities. Some of them never got used, some of them they can't sell. But that would be one issue, is making certain that that we don't take on these entrepreneurial activities to begin with, focusing on our core responsibilities. And you know, I'll be honest, and a lot of what we do in court, a lot of it is mundane, daily business, things that has to happen. And I haven't seen a lot of areas in which we're getting into that we shouldn't, other than these, and that's kind of what I'm watching for. But what I do see is just in the past, our budget has just grown and grown and grown, and I was happy to hear that the elected officials that we have and the department heads that we have, they're mindful of the fact that there is a change out there, that we do need to be more responsible, that if we can get by with less, let's do so. Let's not put our people in jeopardy. Let's not you know, put them in harm's way. Let's not work with equipment that's not going to meet the needs. But let's try to make every dollar go as far as it can, and seeing that and having that mentality permeate through the county is a good thing. And we're lucky that we have a lot of good Republicans within our local government. We're lucky that we have a lot of really good county employees that understand that. We do have a very good staff of hard-working county employees that they want to do their best for you. They want to do their best for themselves, and they understand that. And what's interesting is I get a tremendous amount of emails from county employees when I make what my court members would say are unpopular decisions. I got a lot of feedback, very positive, about the JP position, because they realize if it were them, that's not how it would be handled. And it should be handled the exact same way for everybody. Yes, sir.
Understanding that Monday, the court decided to spend $550,000 on the toll road study. How does that interface with the $500,000?
The good thing is that did not get approved. I think that it was asked to be approved, and it wasn't the appropriate.
It wasn't posted.
It wasn't posted properly, so we couldn't approve it. I think that we need an entire major thoroughfare plan for Montgomery County. It's been a very long time since something like that was put in place. We don't need to spend $550,000 to look at 2 toll roads. We need to look at a major thoroughfare plan for the entire Montgomery County, and toll roads may be a part of that. But I don't want to isolate it and look at that in a microcosm. I think it's a much bigger picture. As I said in court, the residents of South County, I just don't know a lot of people in South County that want to get on a toll road on the other side on the east side of the river and drive to Cut and Shoot. I just don't see that as a necessity.
Yeah, one of the things that came up, I was listening to this thing that you did bring up going to Cut and Shoot, but obviously it's up to develop and get more people and bring in more renewables and all the rest of the stuff. But what I don't know is where the hell is that coming from? I mean, if you don't solve that problem at the same time that you want to build the tollways, I mean, you can build tollways, you can pass bonds and do all that stuff, but you got no water to bring to them. It's crazy.
No, I agree. Yes, Dwayne.
Earlier, we talked about bonds, and I was just wondering, have y'all looked at taking the older bonds that y'all have and selling them for replacement bonds with the interest rates as low as they are today?
Just about everything has been refunded. So
Okay.
just about all bonds have been refunded at this point. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. Are you having a mosquito problem? Okay, good. Anybody else? No. What we do is Montgomery County has a staff. Justin runs our mosquito abatement team as well. And what they do is they go out and they trap mosquitoes. They send them out to be tested, see what type of mosquito they are, if they're carrying any disease. And when they're treated, they use mosquito dunks primarily to treat infested areas, to treat water. You don't really see a lot of mosquito spraying anymore. It's very ineffective. As a matter of fact, I was reading an article that there have been some communities where the demand was so high for spraying that they would spray water And people would think it was doing better because they wanted to hear the sound, I guess, and see the truck. We won't do that, but it was an idea. So that's how it's addressed, and you know, infested areas are treated. And any other questions? Well, thank you very much. I love coming to talk to you.